And I'm Nembang, your host for Money Mania, and we're here live at FinTech Talents Festival in London. Today I've got the pleasure of introducing our next guest, Ricardo Chaves. Hi, Ricardo.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Perfect.
Lovely. Thanks for joining us in the Enfuce sauna today. Yes, and please introduce yourself, Banco BPI, and a little bit about your role and what you do.
Okay, thank you for the invite first. My name is Ricardo Chaves. I lead an AI Center of Excellence in BPI. BPI is the Portuguese branch of CaixaBank Group in Portugal.
Lovely. And what do you do specifically as your role in Banco BPI?
We have the mission of transforming the bank using AI. So in the end, we started 2.5 years ago as a very small team, and right now we're almost 40 and touching, I would say, around 20 areas of the bank, working cooperatively with those areas. From personalization, which is what I'm be speaking tomorrow, zero operations or using AI to reduce operations and become more cost effective and efficient. And also, of course, generative AI. Everyone is speaking of generative AI. We are also giving our first steps in it.
Yeah, perfect. So a little bit more about the talk that you said that you're doing tomorrow. So you're speaking at the conference this week. Tell us a little bit more about the panel and what you're most looking forward to discussing at the panel.
What I'm going to share is what we've done in personalization using what we call an AI-driven approach, which is basically grabbing everything that we know about the customer. A bank knows a lot about the customers. Sometimes the banks cannot use what they know into tangible and useful things for the clients, but we know a lot. What we've been doing the past 2 years is to build an engine that uses all that knowledge and converts it into a much more focused effort in products that the client effectively needs, and go from the traditional carpet bombing that banks used to do, trying to push all the products to the clients anytime, to a much more focused and turning it into a value-added relationship with the right offer at the right time.
Exactly. And you lightly touched upon, the AI transformative topics that you're focusing on as well. To your definition, what is an AI-driven bank?
An AI-driven bank, I would say it's twofold. First, a bank that understands that technology is at the core of the personalization of the relationship with the client. And of course, it's the derivation of the first one. It is a client-centric bank, which is not so obvious for traditional universal banks. So when we compare them with the digital natives, being client-centric means offering what the client needs at the right time, and not necessarily what the bank decided you wanted to sell strategically. And this is the transformation of mentality, but not also of mentality. You need to have the proper tools to make this happen. And that's what we are going to share. And AI is critical for that. Yeah,
absolutely. And on the topic of AI as well, I mean, there's a lot of challenges and opportunities that we're all seeing when it comes to that specific topic. For you, what do you think, how can AI compete with human touch when it comes to the customer experience, as you just said?
In several ways. It's not necessarily compete, I would say complement. I would say that AI complements a lot. First, it's not irrelevant that when you use AI to focus on what the client needs, you're saving the client a lot of unuseful sales push around him. And also being there at the right time is something that typically creates a lot of value in the client's life. Secondly, AI is also used in operations to remove a lot of costly services and background operations that to deliver more efficient services and also to be faster. AI typically allows you not only to reduce costs and be more efficient on how you serve the client, but also become faster in serving the client. And while you do this, typically what happens is that your branch network, your human force, has a lot more time to speak with the client freely without the burden of being always chasing administrative procedures and that. So I would say that AI helps a lot to humanize the relationship with the client.
Yeah, so definitely it's more complementary as rather than kind of competitive aspect.
The idea is not to substitute, is to augment and empower.
Of course, I know there's a lot of fear sometimes around it, but it's from that perspective, it's hopefully something that they can build and help everyone,
Yeah.
going forwards. But when it does come to banking, and on the same topic of AI as well, how ready do you think people are to have AI involved with their money? So from obviously from a corporate perspective, yes, but from a consumer perspective, how involved with their money?
I think that when I see a robot type of approach, I think that either it is too simple and typically it's not AI based, or I would not advise going that way. So AI-driven consulting or something like that, it's something that is too risky. It's not the proper way. But I would say that it is very useful to understand. It's difficult for an account manager, for instance, to summarize the life of a client in a way that he can do it for all his clients. But with generative AI, for instance, you can do it. And you can understand, okay, this is a client that has this past, currently he's under this situation with this type of challenges, and the generative AI can do this on top of unstructured data. This in the end turns out to support the possibility of addressing hundreds of clients for an account manager with a very specific solution for his financial needs. For instance, I can have a propensity model to understand that this client is propense to save money and to put his money in savings, and then I can use generative AI to understand better if what type of product will it be, short-term, long-term, destined to his kids or to the second house that he probably wants to have. So this is something that AI can be used to personalize significantly your offer.
No, absolutely. And lastly as well, for the conference that we've been at for the today and for the next day as well, what game-changing trends and topics have you seen at the event so far?
I thought a little bit on the question, and I think that more than game-changing trends, the last year was a lot about game-changing trends. I think this year, what is most interesting to me is that everyone is sharing with a lot of transparency where we stand, namely in generative AI. Generative AI is amazing, but very difficult nut to crack. And I've seen a lot of transparency of all the people sharing where they are. We tried this, didn't work. We tried this, eventually it will work. Not everything is into production. Still struggling on the right framework, the right way to approach it. And this is much more useful because we are all, in the end, after the panels, discussing concrete things that we are trying to overcome. So my key trend here is the transparency and sincerity on how people are sharing their struggle to make generative AI work.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of, since it's all new, there's a lot of unprecedented things as well. Yeah. So all the rise of AI, but also kind of the legal perspective as well. Yeah. And having to kind of navigate all that.
I had a person say that this cannot be, he was from a bank, from NatWest, this cannot be the Wild West. And it cannot be. This. And I would say that the key word here should be trust. More than AI, it's trusted AI. That is the challenge. Build trusted AI for the customer.
Absolutely, and I agree with that 100%. But thank you so much for sharing the excellent and interesting insights with us today. And thanks for being a guest for Money Mania.